Oh, Harry Kane again with another sublime, world-class clutch moment for Tottenham Hotspur. Comes up trumps when his team needs him. Tottenham, top of the league. Jose Mourinho, top of the league. So many of us were wrong. So many of us were wrong when he joined Tottenham. We thought he was past it. We thought he was maybe in the bin. We thought mentally maybe he wasn't there. That was my view. Some said tactically he was finished. Some said philosophy was dead. Some said fossil football. But he is top of the league with Tottenham. Harry Kane on fire. Silencing the doubters again. And you got to hold your hands up. If you felt this time last year, this time 6 months ago, that Tottenham were dead under Jose Mourinho, you're wrong. You're wrong. And you know what? We were wrong. We were wrong. And I said all along with Jose Mourinho, no issue with his tactics, no issue with his style, no issue with the way he plays football. It was about the mentality. I thought he was mentally finished, that he couldn't handle the pressures of the game anymore. They didn't want it anymore. But something I also said at the same time is coming to fruition. If you keep him happy, Jose Mourinho is dangerous and he is happy at Tottenham. Daniel Levy is giving him what he wants, spending what he wants, buying the players he wants, giving, and not just the individual, but the type of player needed for Jose Mourinho is there. And Tottenham are top of the league. I honestly can see Tottenham Hotspur winning the title. I can see Tottenham being up there with Chelsea, being up there with Liverpool at the end of the season. And depending on results today, depending on other results today, of course, Leicester kick off against Wolverhampton Wanderers in a matter of 4 minutes. And then Liverpool, of course, host Manchester City later today. Tottenham could go into the international break on top of the table. And maybe after the opening game of the season, I remember Spurs fans on here said it was in the mud, said it was going backwards. They've changed their tune. Most of us have changed their tune. Most people got it wrong with Jose Mourinho for one way or another. If you thought his tactics and system could never work, you were wrong. If, like me, you thought mentally he wasn't in it anymore, you were wrong. Put your hands up, say you were wrong, and now let's enjoy on what Tottenham are doing. We're going to take your calls now. The Skype lines are open, so feel free to give us a call right about now. Spurs fans, you're top of the damn league with Jose Mourinho. What are you saying? We're going to get LFC Sonny on as our first caller here. LFC Sonny, what do you want to say, mate?
Yeah, do you hear me okay?
Perfect.
Yeah, this Tottenham team, the team's not changed, but the manager, I think the mindset has really changed. Because last season, if we're being honest, Tottenham don't win that game. And if you look at this season, they've been winning most of their games and they've got a new mentality in that team. And I think Jose could, I wouldn't say title challenge, but that's only because I don't think they have the quality title challenge in the whole squad. I think compared to Liverpool and City, they've got the quality and the coaching, and they're like a a team
and
already.
Jose's on fire. Jose's doing at Tottenham right now what I thought Woodward and co would let him do at Manchester United. In Jose's history, when you give him free reign, when you give him control, when you give him what he wants, he delivers the major trophies. There's no doubt about it. History proves that. As soon as you start pulling the rug from under his feet, as soon as you start causing problems for Jose, he becomes toxic and it all falls apart. That's the model. There's a comment here from Adam that says, Terry, you said Jose was a dinosaur. Ha, 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 ha. You were so wrong. You flip-flop. So I said Jose. I've never said that Jose's tactics and style and pragmatic approach to football and his philosophy is finished. Never said that once. I denounced that every step of the way. What I said about Jose is I don't know if he can handle young modern-day football players, and I don't know if he can handle football at the mentality level when things go wrong. Now, this is what you have to understand. And you can try, we've got a got you moment with Terry. We've caught Terry out. You haven't. You literally haven't. What I say all along is, if, for instance, Daniel Levy come January starts telling Jose Mourinho no, if come next summer, whether you win the league or not, Jose's like, right, I want to sell Harry winks and Daniel Levy says no, that's when you'll start to see problems be created. But I don't think Daniel Levy's that stupid. I think Daniel Levy realizes if you keep Jose happy, the squad stays happy. And when Jose and his squad are happy and they're all pulling in the same direction, you can win major titles.
Yeah, I think it's so important that he's backed Jose's first summer, because I think that can do a lot of things for the squad. Doing it back in the first summer, I think that's so important.
Yeah, of course. And this is the thing I will say to people: backing a manager isn't just about spending money. It's letting him play the tactics he wants. Any player step out of line, the manager is put first. If a manager wants to sell a player, you sell that player first. When a manager makes a suggestion, within reason, you let the manager do it, unless you think it's absolutely suicidal. Where things started to go wrong at Tottenham, we've seen the information with Poch, was when Poch was asking for things like, we want to install cameras to do these things of training. No. Okay, I'll pay for my own money. No, we don't want you to do it. As soon as they started saying no to Poch on a number of reasons, it created problems, and it does for most people. What we know about Jose is that's when things become most toxic. But right now, they're keeping things on an even keel. And when Jose's in this mood and when his squad's pulling together in the way in which they are, it's working. And you know they're giving Jose power by everything that's going on with Dele Alli. Where's the outrage? Where are the cameras? Where are the stories being leaked out of Tottenham that everybody's unhappy with Jose bullying Dele Alli? Where are all the where are the cameras panning to Dele Alli in the stadium saying, you know, like we have him with Free Van der Beek, free Dele Alli? Nobody's doing it because there's no mileage in doing it at Tottenham. I don't care about the selling it to the newspapers. There's no mileage in that. There's no mileage because Jose's got full control. Daniel Levy is going to let him do what he wants. So there's no point the players leaking this information. There's no point Levy leaking it either. There's no point going to the press trying to, has there been one headline about Jose bullying Dele Alli? Like when he throws out Paul Pogba or when he throws out Bastian Schweinsteiger? There isn't, because the manager's now in control. And Daniel Levy knows, you know what, if we keep this situation and the back room harmonious, we could win the damn Premier League. And that's the most important bit. That's why he's going to deliver. He could end up delivering more at Tottenham than he delivered at Manchester United. There's no doubt. LFC Sonny, thank you for coming on the show, mate, and having your say. Thank you, buddy. Smash that like button, people, right about now. Jerome is here with a super chat. It says, put my hands up. I say that I was wrong about Jose. In the past, we would have drawn this game and our heads would have gone down, but the team has changed and keep grinding out for the win. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Tottenham are flying, and they've got a mentality there now, and that stems from the manager. And Jose is the best manager in the world when he's happy and got full control. We've got Igal on the line. Igal's an Arsenal fan. What do you make of Tottenham being top of the league, mate?
Who have they played? They've only played Manchester United out of the top 6 teams. When they play City, Chelsea, and Arsenal the next 3 games, after that, if they're still top of the table, then we can talk, Terry. Right now, let's not get them over. Let their heads get big over the international break. But guys, you're gonna fall back down to earth because you got Arsenal, Man City, and Chelsea out of your next 3 games.
Yeah, but they're better than you, mate.
That doesn't mean shit, Terry. What we're talking about is,
but you guys, you've been getting gassed, Igal. You've been like when you beat Man United, you were literally swinging for. I didn't say we're going to win the league, but Tottenham have the ability to win the league. They've got top quality players, top to back, and they've got a world class, proven manager. I'm simply stating they're grinding out results. Their performances have been brilliant. They're beating teams they were drawing to last year. They've scored, I think, 19 goals they've scored this season. You know, they're on 17 points in that time, unbeaten in however many games, doing well in Europe as a general rule. They're flying right now. I mean, that deserves credit, does it not?
Yeah, give them credit. They're where they are right now. But at the end of the day, my point still stands. In order to win the league, you got to do it against the top teams. They did it once against Manchester United. They haven't done it against anybody else yet.
So they've played one. Okay, so they played Manchester United. They beat Man United 6-1, mate. They beat Man United 6-1.
They also lost away. They also lost in the Europa League against a team we can't even name the name.
Yeah, okay, cool, and that's fair enough. But we're talking about their Premier League form here. And this season, yeah, they've had a couple of bad results. There's no doubt about it. Not putting Newcastle to bed probably stands out as a bad result. The West Ham game was just a madness as they were finding their feet. But as a general rule, you know, they've beat. You kind of go through this slaps. Look how good Southampton have been this year. Southampton are one of the top teams in the Premier League this year, currently sitting top. They beat Southampton 5-2, mate.
Yeah.
Come on, put a bit more. What I'm saying to you is put a bit more respect on them. Tottenham right now are one of the best teams in England. Jose's got them firing, and they've still got time for their new signings to gel and come together. Like, they are miles in front of you boys.
That's an irrelevant point. I'm not talking about Arsenal right now. What I'm talking about is Tottenham. They themselves know they have yet to play a top team. Manchester United were struggling coming out the gates, so they capitalized on that, and they also got a yellow card. They got a red card in that game. The game against Southampton, they knew that Southampton were playing a high line, and the tactics were great, and they beat them, and they smashed them with a consistent ball over the top. My point is, after the next 3 games, if you guys can show me you guys can compete against those teams and maybe if you can get 9 points out of those next 3 games, I'm not going to lie to you, I'm going to put my hands up and say maybe they can win the league. But only if they get 9 points out of the next 3 games. Even if they get 7 points out of the 7 or 9 points, I'm going to put my hands up and say,
come on. I think you're being a bit of a bitter gooner here because they're turning into a really good team, man.
I haven't mentioned Arsenal. You've mentioned Arsenal.
You don't need to mention Arsenal. You don't need to mention Arsenal. You can hear it in your voice, Agal. Come on, bro.
Terry, I know what you're saying, but I'm coming on here. I'm trying to be subjective. Okay. Let me tell you the honest truth.
But you're never this subjective about Arsenal.
That doesn't mean anything. We're talking about Tottenham.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
It does mean something. When you come on and talk about Arsenal, you've been chatting about El Neni like he's prime Claude Makelele. Tottenham are actually top of the league on a really good sort of unbeaten run in the Premier League. And you're like, no, they've got to calm down. You're calling El Neni Claude Makelele. You've said that Thomas Partey is like one of the best midfielders in the league after 2 games. Yet Spurs are top of the league and they've got to calm down. Come on, Igal, have the same energy, bro.
You have the same energy. If this was Arsenal, you wouldn't say that.
Because Arsenal don't have one of the greatest managers of the last 30 years leading their team. Tottenham don't have a manager. Arsenal don't have a manager running their team that when he's been given full control, full power, complete anonymity at every club he's been at, he's won the league titles. He's won Champions Leagues. He's won trebles. He's won back-to-back Premier League titles. There's a pedigree there. There's a genuine pedigree there.
There's also a pedigree of a team that has not won a trophy for over 4,000 days. They have not won a major trophy in 50 years. That's also a pedigree. Don't forget that.
That's very, very true. That's a really good point, and I stand by that. I think Jose Mourinho is changing it myself. We'll keep you on the line when we add other callers. We've got Seb that's coming on now. Before we go to Seb and Ches, who are adding to the line, we're going to do the super chats. One here says, our fans on our board never backed Jose when we wanted to sell or buy certain players like Martial, but we never welcomed Jose's decisions. But Jose is the best. Like, I agree with that. I've said it all along. I didn't agree with Jose's decisions on a personal level to get rid of those particular players. However, you can't have a manager come in and not back them. If you don't back the manager when they come in, you're on a hiding to nothing. You're only ever going to lose out. Monster here says, you still have to dispatch teams, and that's what Spurs are doing, is what Mansour says. Jerome here says, Igal, my guy, I like you, but unlike you Arsenal fans, we don't get gassed about wins and shouting. We are going to win the league. We know it's still early, but the small wins count. That's what's being said in the super chat. So I got really, really itchy nose. David, I'm trying to add you to the call, but it's not giving me the option. Alex here says, how do we call in via Skype? Search Football Terrace FC on Skype. Get yourself involved. We've added to the line now Zach and Ches. I'm going to go to Ches first of all. What are you saying, bro? Are you there, Ches?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, man. What are you saying? Tottenham picking up more wins, picking up more points. Harry Kane on fire. What are you saying, bro?
I think I said the group chat the other day. I think Tottenham do have what it takes to push the league. And no, I'm not being overreactionary. Obviously, I'm taking into account the Europa League result. I'm taking into account they drew against West Ham last minute. But what I think they've got, just like Chelsea have, is a good balance within the team, squad depth, because everyone's going to get injured this year, and foremost, the manager. All the people say he's washed, he's past it, he's won he's won stuff, he's a winner. He knows how to win. He knows how to win 1-0. Done it with Chelsea. There's no reason why he can't do it with Tottenham. And he's been backed. So that's my reasoning. I honestly think they can push for the league. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you, mate. I think they legitimately could win the league this year. Of course, they have to become consistent. Of course, they have to be resilient in games. What I'm seeing from Tottenham, though, is something that I haven't seen in a long time from them, and it's so interesting to see. Like, I mean it in a positive way. It's there, and I'm just really happy for Jose Mourinho because I genuinely thought mentally he'd been so scarred by Real Madrid, Chelsea, Man United that he would never be able to come back from this. And I think Daniel Levy has handled it perfectly, and I think Daniel Levy shouldn't be underestimated in this because it's important to know that Jose's got those scars. And in the early days at Tottenham, you started to see it falling out of Ndombele. It was quite. I felt he went a little bit. I felt like I saw Jose's attitude straight away. It just gave me kind of flashbacks and PTSD to the way he was behaving towards the end of his Man United career. And I saw it very early on at Tottenham. But Daniel Levy, I think, has managed that situation well. And I think has basically told him, look, if you want to get rid of anyone in this squad, you've got the power to. So stop getting your knickers in a twist. Stop kind of doing this madness publicly, but just manage this team. If you want Ndombele gone, you can't resolve your issues with him, great. If you want to sit Dele Alli in the stands, great. I am backing you, Jose. And Jose loves that. If Jose's backed, he's a dangerous, dangerous man. We've got David on the line with us. David, what are you saying, mate? Can Spurs win the league?
No. I think that the biggest thing for them is injuries. I don't see their starting 11 staying fit for the whole season. I think more than almost any other team in the top 6, their drop-off from their starting 11 to their sub-bench is quite dramatic. And those injury records aren't looking good. That would be my only thing against them. Starting 11.
Yeah, I think that's a fair criticism, David.
Yeah, but it's like they have squad depth, though.
They do, but I think it's the same for any team. If Chelsea was, it depends who you lose. Depends who gets injured. If Chelsea was to suddenly lose,
Kane goes down.
Yeah.
No, not even that, David. What I'd give you is a centre back. If one of the centre backs go, then they finish. Because
their centre back, most of their centre backs are quite poor anyway. To be honest,
yeah, true.
They're dropping out.
But,
like if we lose Thiago Silva, I know for a fact our form will drop. Like,
yeah, facts.
But if or Mendy, but if Kovacic goes down or Mount goes down, it's not the end of the world because we've got
of course it's the same as if Winks went down for Tottenham, it wouldn't be the end of the world. I think that every team, if you lose one or two of your main players, it's going to impact you. I don't think that can be denounced. And like I said yesterday, I look at Chelsea as a team that could genuinely win the league this year. I'm now looking at Tottenham as a team that can genuinely win the league. A few people were saying, Terry, yesterday you said Chelsea were going to win it. They said they could. And I'm also saying Tottenham could. They both could. And do you know what? This should be, if you're not a fan of those clubs, this should be music to your ears. We need a damn title race. We need more than one team running away with the league.
Terry, can I say something about Tottenham? We've been here before. I feel like this is second season Mourinho syndrome, and guys think he's going to win the league. I honestly think that season when you guys finished second, before City ran away with it, a lot of Man United fans thought you guys could win the league that year when you finished second. So I think it's still early. We're going to see. We're going to see. High prospectively, if you remember at the beginning of the season when Manchester United were getting a lot of points, that second season when you guys ended up finishing second, it was the same situation. So I'm basically seeing deja vu. They're not going to win the league. At the end of the season, someone's going to pull away far away from Tottenham, and we're going to be back here again next season. And Mourinho's going to fall off, and he's going to get sacked. So it's Mourinho. We know Mourinho. This is what's going to happen. It could be he could have turned back the clock, and he could be back in Chelsea's Mourinho. But I have to see it to believe it.
Mate, do you know what? When you talk like that, Igal, I like you. It's funny how when people say to you as an Arsenal fan, we need to see it before you believe it. You're like, no, have faith. But yeah, when it comes to Tottenham, you're like, don't have faith. We know what's going to happen. Igal, that's why you're brilliant, bro. You're amazing. You're amazing.
But it's just like he's saying it like it's going to be a fact. That's not true. But you can't.
Sorry, Jose Mourinho's second season syndrome thing, and I defended him the whole way through his United career. Third season syndrome, whatever you want to call it, it only ever happens when power's taken away from him. So he didn't have that situation at Porto. He left on a high. He didn't have that situation at Inter Milan. He left on a high. So they didn't exist at those clubs. It did happen at Chelsea twice, maybe not third season, but it happened. Happened at Man United, happened at Real Madrid. But do your research as to why. Every time it fell apart is when whether it be players or the board, started doing things he didn't want, and he wasn't able to control the situation, i.e., Roman Abramovich signing players that he didn't want, selling players that he wanted to keep. At Real Madrid, very similar situations. He fell out with certain players, powerful players at the club. They had more say than him. The likes of Ramos and Casillas had more power than Jose Mourinho. Then when Jose goes mad, he does some crazy stuff, poking man in eye and stuff like that. Jose, when he loses it, it's epic. At Man United, you're right, Agal. First season, did okay, won some trophies. Okay, second season, come second, doing what he was doing. And then the fans started to turn because we were so embarrassed of how far behind Chelsea we were. People weren't looking at it from a perspective point of view that City just had an outrageously good season. Our season was still pretty damn good. As soon as people started to turn on Jose, slowly but surely, our owners, who we know are wind merchants, say, well, where's the wind blowing? That's where we're going to make our decisions. They gave the man a new deal in the January. By the March, we're telling him no to signing players and no to selling players. As soon as they started doing that, Man United, end of that second season, started to fall off when we finished second, started to already crumble. As we went into that third season, it had already fallen apart because they'd taken power away. That's one thing that frustrates me with football fans is they want to push out a fact that Jose has lost it in second and third seasons on multiple occasions, but they always want to leave out why. What were the key differences when he lost? So I look at it this way when it's Jose Mourinho. If you want him to be a success, just give him the power. Because if you look at Porto and Inter Milan, they're his two most successful clubs in terms of what he did on a level. So why not just give him the environment he had there to make him most successful? Do you get where I'm coming from? If you sign a player who scores and creates all these goals from the right-hand side, it's like sticking him in midfield. If you're going to bring him into your club and not give him what he needs to be a successful manager, I find that notion exceedingly strange. So I get where you're coming from, Miguel, but as long as Tottenham keep him happy, he's going to win some trophies at Tottenham, and he could win something major because when he went to Inter and when he went to Porto, who thought man was going to do Champions League and trebles? No one. Well,
I'm saying if Tottenham win a trophy, Arsenal fans are going to be the ones that are the most upset by it because they are obsessed with them. I don't know why you are, but you all seem to. Whenever Tottenham do well, Arsenal fans are always the first ones to be like discredit it as much as they can, regardless.
It was so funny. They lost. They lost in the Europa League final, but they were quick to shout at Tottenham for losing in the Champions League final. literally.
I think what I always find interesting is the Harry Kane thing's always crazy because I would say 95% of Arsenal fans try their best to put Harry Kane down as a player. And they say, like, when does he do it in the big games? I'm like, bro, I swear he's the highest scoring player in the history of North London derbies.
He is.
But yet he doesn't do it in big games. I mean, that is the big game. Like, the derby is the biggest game of Arsenal's season. And yet the guy you say that never delivers in any big games is the top goal scorer in that historic fixture. That's what I mean.
It's tribalistic. Let's be honest.
What's tribalistic? Yeah, but it's tribalistic to a point, and then it becomes weird.
Then it's just stupid. Like you were literally saying that Aubameyang's the same level as Harry Kane. Yeah, there is no like evidence to prove that. But just because you're I get that Aubameyang's a good striker. He's not far. I'm not saying he's far off.
I think you picked the wrong example.
But Kane is clearly the better player. Clearly,
yeah, Kane is more complete.
Yeah, Harry Kane can create. He can pass. He's got better skills. He's got better technique as a football player. And this is where football fans will get annoyed. Oh, we saying Aubameyang plays golf? No, just saying Harry Kane's better. There's, if someone says to me, Terry, I really do think KDB is better than Bruno. Do you know how much sleep I lose over it? None. When I start to get frustrated is when people say, man, KDB's amazing. Bruno's trash, bro. So what do you mean trash? What do you say? If a Spurs fan come in here and said, listen, Aubameyang's trash, Harry Kane's the guy, I'd call him on that opinion as well. Harry Kane is the most disrespected and underrated football player in world football. For what that man has done, the goals that he has scored, the way he's pushed his team forward, the goalposts are continually moved. And by the way, even when he starts winning trophies, I guarantee you they find a way to belittle them and change them. Like if say Spurs won the league this year, it would be, yeah, but there were no fans. So the pressure wasn't there. It meant that there was no pressure from fans to make them bottle it. If there were supporters, they wouldn't have done it. There should be an asterisk, tear. Whatever he does in any situation, they'll turn around. By the way, if they'd have won the Champions League final against Liverpool, do you know what they said? Yeah, but he only did it against a Jurgen Klopp team, and Jurgen Klopp doesn't win finals because at that point he hadn't won any finals. So it would have done. Do you get what I mean? Whatever they can do to discredit Harry Kane and Tottenham, they will. Instead of just sitting back and realizing in the last 5 to 6 years, Tottenham, generally speaking, have been a better team than Arsenal. Facts.
But the only thing is, I would say, which is very important, which I always mention, like I mentioned before, is silverware is very important to me. Like it kind of does sway. Like at the end of it, you look back at it and go, "Oh, Harry Kane scored X amount of goals." Yes, he does it in big games, but it has to contribute towards something tangible. That's for me.
Yeah, and I agree, and I agree with that. And I think that's if you're getting into the nuances of players. So let's just say Harry Kane retires and he's got the most goals in Premier League history, and people want to say, "Oh, between him and Alan Shearer," but Harry Kane doesn't win anything. But Alan Shearer won the Premier League, then I can understand you siding towards Shearer because of that trophy.
Legend,
What I don't like is when people say, "I don't want to talk about Harry Kane being top class until he wins a trophy." That for me is too disingenuous and dismissive. And
you want to know something though?
Also,
if him and Jamie Vardy's careers ended today, Jamie Vardy has a Premier League trophy. People remember Jamie Vardy more than they remember Harry Kane.
I don't know if they would.
I don't think that's true.
No,
I don't think that's true. What I'm saying about that whole trophy thing, because Arsenal fans love to talk about that, the FA Cup, right?
It's funny how
no, you did. No, the thing is with Tottenham and Arsenal, right, is that the gap has been like quite large when you look over the season. Like the gap tends to be quite large recently. Like I know you won the trophy. Like when Wigan won the FA Cup, they weren't suddenly one of the best teams in the country. That doesn't make you like. It's only those trophies only come into play when it's like you're really close together. For me, Tottenham have been clearly the better side for about 5 years. Like very clear. Say
as you please. Say whatever you want. At the end of the day, last year we finished 8th, and we were the ones in Europa League qualifiers. They were in the Europa League qualifiers because we won the trophy.
And
you did. But I think that the point is
you're in the same competition regardless.
There's one barometer, boys. There's one barometer that proves who the best and worst teams are.
The league,
and that's the league table. It's a fact. It's the only barometer for who the best and worst teams are.
The thing is, so what's the difference between finishing 8th and 5th? If you
three places. One team's Agal. One team's the 8th best team in the league. The other team is the 5th best team in the league. Now, in a one snapshot year, I don't think you can make those kind of calls. But if you look at it over a 5-6 year period and look at total points, you could do it in two ways. Each year's league position, or you could look at total points accumulated. So you could almost create like a if you look at there's a thing that you can look at. It's one website does it where you look at the league table. If you added all the seasons up together, Man United are on top. That's because we've been the best team in Premier League history. Whatever way around you look at it, over a 5-6 year period in the league, Spurs have been better than Arsenal, so they've been a better team. Now, winning trophies, of course, that's important, and you don't discount that as an example. And some Arsenal fans may say, well, because Spurs didn't win anything, I wouldn't want to swap places with them. And that's a fair preference. But the only barometer for who the best, the worst team is in the league is the league table. Now, who individual seasons, yes, definitely last year you had a better season than Spurs. I'm not going to deny that at all. But Spurs, I think you'd have rather have had Spurs in the last 4 or 5 years than you would have been Arsenal. More time in the Champions League. Better quality football, I would say, overall. Less meltdown moments as fans. That's just my opinion. But everyone's going to look at it kind of differently.
There's one thing you guys are discounting, though.
Doesn't say a lot, though. It doesn't really mean much in terms of Tottenham. If you're moving up the league table, because that's a barometer, it shows progress. Whereas winning the trophy, as the history shows, anybody relegated teams win the FA Cup. So what does that mean?
No, but at the same time, if you look at the history books, if you look back at the history books, people are not going to remember these Tottenham teams for finishing 4th and 5th. You're going to only remember them. Let me finish.
Realistically, no one's remembering your one FA Cup win.
David, let me finish, bro. My whole point is you're going to remember them for going to Champions League final and not finish it and not winning it, but you're going to remember this Arsenal team.
But that's not true, Egal.
For winning 4
Egal. That's true to Egal. So
those are the things you're going to remember.
Egal. In the Arsenal world, Arsenal will always remember every single trophy they've won. If you were to turn around to I want to just say a Man City fan in 15 years' time and say, who won the FA Cup in 2020? they're going to have to go on Wikipedia and look. They're not going to know, right? They're not going to remember that Arsenal winning an FA Cup when you did isn't going to make them iconic. Interestingly, if you were to ask football fans in 20 years' time, who are the original top 4 in the Premier League era, they'll remember all the teams, even though only 2 of those teams, when the top 4 was a thing, actually won the Premier League, and that was Man United and Chelsea, because the top 4 became a phrase from around 2006 through to about 2010. And Liverpool and Arsenal didn't win the league, but you're still remembered in that era. The same as right now, there's the top 6. We are going to remember the top 6 era of football in 20 years' time, but only 1 or 2 of our teams have won the league in the top 6 era. So I think there's elements of what you're saying are true. The history books will always remember that in 2020, Arsenal were one of the winners, and no one's going to remember where Spurs came. I understand that. But we're not looking back from a historical point of view. We're looking at where we are, where we're placed now, where we've been for the last few years. And I think one thing we've all said about Spurs, where I want to be fair, is people have said about Tottenham, they've got to win something and win something soon, because they've got this group of players that have been good enough or have got the talent to have titles attributed to their names, but they never quite got over the line. And I think this next 2 years, one sec, mate. This next 2 years is imperative for them to win something, because otherwise I think that it will disband and fall away. And I just think with Jose, they've got the ability to do that. You were going to say something. Sorry, Ches.
Yeah, literally, I was going to interject and say, that's exactly what I was about to say. They need to win something this year or next year. And that's where they should have won something before. Like, we mock them all the time as Chelsea fans. But, like, especially this year, Mourinho, there's not much excuse seeing he's been backed. Like, Man United could say something, maybe, even like Arsenal to some extent. But Tottenham have no excuse. They've been backed. Everyone can see it. They've got their full team right now as it stands. So there's not much room for error here.
No, I hear that.
In my opinion.
Tottenham will win the Carabao Cup. They will. Tottenham will win the Carabao Cup. I'm saying it.
And then they go in the history books. Then they're in the history books for life.
Then they're in the history
books. Boys,
but this is their best ever team.
Right.
This is their best ever team.
Well, it's not their best ever team. They've done the FA Cup and League. You mean in the
these past 5 years? These past 5 years have been historically their best ever team in history. Every major team, Chelsea, in our generation.
No, then don't say their history. Then don't say their history. Tottenham have done the FA Cup and League doubles before.
In our generation, this is the best team they've had. And in our generation, all our best teams, Chelsea's best team, City's best team, Liverpool's best team, all have something to show for it. Until they have something to show for their achievements as a squad, to me, they're going to be irrelevant.
Well, they're not irrelevant because you're on a show. They're not irrelevant because you've come onto a Tottenham show to speak about them. So they're clearly relevant, and they have to be relevant. If Tottenham become irrelevant, Arsenal lose, I think, a big percentage of what you are as a football club. Rivalry is the key component to football. Imagine removing rivalry. Football's dead. Football's over. Like, Arsenal need Tottenham and Tottenham need Arsenal. It's as simple and as straightforward as that for me. Listen, everyone who's been on this show, I appreciate and respect all your opinions. Everyone tuning in, smash that like button, please. We're back for Man City, Tottenham. No, we're not. Man City, Liverpool in about an hour and a half's time. Of course, we'll cover the Arsenal game a little bit later on this evening as well. Do me a big favor and smash the living daylights out of that like button. Sign up to our newsletter right about now. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again soon. Peace.